Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. The Unlikely Beginnings. The Unlikely Beginnings. Steve Jobs' life was a fascinating tale of innovation, perseverance, and transformation. But it all began with an unlikely start: his adoption. Steve's adoption would have a profound impact on his life, shaping his feelings, identity, and ultimately, his approach to work. I remember my parents telling me I was adopted, Steve recalled. They were very open about it, and they made me feel special, like I was chosen. Steve's adoptive parents, Paul and Clara Jobs, played a significant role in nurturing his sense of self-worth. They instilled in him the concepts of being abandoned, chosen, and special, ideas that would become integral to how Steve regarded himself. Growing up, Steve was fascinated by his adoptive father's passion for mechanics and electronics. Paul Jobs' expertise had a profound impact on Steve's early exposure to technology. "My dad was a mechanic, and he loved fixing things," Steve said. "He'd take me to the junkyard on weekends, and we'd scavenge for parts. Those trips sparked my interest in electronics." Paul's influence extended beyond just technology. His calm and gentle demeanor, combined with his resolute approach to work, left a lasting impression on Steve. "My dad was a craftsman," Steve said. "He believed in doing things right, and that attention to detail stuck with me." As Steve grew older, he began to grapple with the emotional effects of being abandoned at birth. He felt a deep-seated need to control his environment and the products he created. This desire for control would become a hallmark of his personality and eventually shape his approach to product design. Despite claiming to never have felt abandoned, Steve's actions told a different story. His internal conflict stemmed from the disparity between his conscious assertion of not feeling abandoned and his unconscious feelings of insecurity and rejection. This conflict manifested in his quest for control and perfectionism in his work. In an attempt to resolve this internal conflict, Steve turned to primal scream therapy in 1974. Developed by Arthur Janoff, this form of psychotherapy aimed to release repressed childhood traumas through intense emotional expression. Steve underwent a 12-week program at the Oregon Feeling Center, hoping to confront the pain of being adopted and not knowing his birth parents. While he initially found the therapy insightful, he later dismissed its teachings as oversimplified. As Steve navigated the complexities of growing up, he began to forge a path that would lead him to revolutionize the technology industry. However, he began to explore his passion for electronics further. As he entered his teenage years, Steve's fascination with technology only intensified, and he started to seek out like-minded individuals who shared his enthusiasm. Before long, Steve found himself at the threshold of a new chapter in his life, one that would be marked by friendships, collaborations, and innovations that would change the course of history. This transition from his early life to his teenage years was a pivotal moment, as it set the stage for the encounters and experiences that would shape his future. It was during this time that Steve met a kindred spirit named Steve Wozniak, also known as Woz. Wozniak, born on August 11, 1950 in San Jose, California, had developed an early interest in electronics and technology during his teenage years. He attended Homestead High School in Cupertino, where he befriended Steve Jobs. Wozniak's passion for technology led him to pursue a degree in electrical engineering and computer science at the University of California, Berkeley. "My friend Steve Wozniak and I started attending meetings of the Homebrew Computer Club," Steve recalled. "That's where we saw the Altair computer, which inspired us to build our own personal computer." The partnership between Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak was about to take shape, and it would change the course of history. But for now, they were just two teenagers with a dream, tinkering with circuits and wires in Steve's parents' garage. Little did they know that their humble beginnings would eventually give birth to Apple Inc., one of the most innovative companies the world has ever seen. Sparking innovation. Sparking innovation. In the quiet of Steve Jobs' garage, the soft hum of electronics filled the air. Steve Wozniak, his friend and partner in innovation, was hunched over a mess of wires and circuits. "Steve, check this out," Wozniak called out, his voice tinged with excitement. Jobs looked up from his own workbench, his eyes lighting up as he saw the small device in Wozniak's hands. "What is it?" Jobs asked, stepping closer. "It's the blue box. It can mimic the tones of the phone company system. We can make free calls anywhere," Wozniak explained, his hands trembling slightly with the thrill of their secret invention. Jobs' mind raced with the possibilities. "Do you realize what we've made here? This isn't just about free calls. It's about control, about power over the system," he said, his voice rising with passion. Wozniak nodded, a shy smile on his face. "I just loved the challenge, making something out of nothing." The two friends spent hours testing and perfecting the blue box. Steve Jobs' childhood was a stereotypical 1950s experience, thanks to his adoptive parents Paul and Clara Jobs. They created a warm and loving environment for him, which included a fascination with mechanics and cars instilled by his father. Steve admired his father's traits, particularly his love for fixing things and not giving up easily. Despite being adopted, Steve never felt abandoned by his parents. Instead, he felt special and loved. Paul Jobs worked as a mechanic, and their financial situation was modest. However, this did not deter Steve from developing an interest in electronics at a young age. Together, they dreamed of bigger things, of personal computers that could change the world. And with each challenge they faced, the foundation for Apple Inc. grew stronger. Their partnership led to the creation of Apple Computer, a symbol of their fresh start and a nod to simplicity and wholesomeness. They envisioned a company that would break the mold, one that would bring technology to the people in a way that was accessible and enjoyable. Apple Inc. was not just a business, it was a revolution in the making, a legacy of innovation that would forever change the digital landscape. With the creation of Apple Computer, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were determined to make their vision a reality. They poured their hearts and souls into building a company that would bring innovation and excitement to the world of technology. As they worked tirelessly to turn their dream into a success, they knew that they were on the cusp of something great, something that would change the world forever. A vision takes shape. In Silicon Valley, a revolution was brewing in a garage where Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak worked tirelessly. Jobs, ever the visionary, paced the room, sharing his ideas for a user-friendly computer. "We'll make them intuitive," he insisted. Wozniak, the technical wizard, was engrossed in his work, bringing Jobs' ideas to life. They were determined to create a computer that was accessible to everyone, not just experts. The two Steves, fueled by their shared ambition, continued their work into the night, each day inching closer to realizing their dream. As they progressed, their creation began to take shape, promising to usher in a new era of personal computing. Finally, after countless revisions and prototypes, the Apple II was born. It was sleeker and more powerful than its predecessor, with Wozniak's genius translating Jobs' grand visions into reality. As the Apple II hit the market, it was clear that Jobs and Wozniak had sparked a revolution, one that would bring computing to the masses. The Graphical Revolution. Steve Jobs paced around the cluttered garage, a space that had witnessed many late-night discussions and breakthroughs. He called out to Steve Wozniak, who was engrossed in his work. "We're on the brink of something big with our new computer, the Macintosh." The team of engineers, designers, and programmers, driven by a shared vision, worked with relentless passion. They debated fervently over the design principles, ensuring that every aspect of the user interface met their high standards. As they crafted the Macintosh, it became clear that they were not just building a computer, they were shaping the future of how people would interact with technology. The dedication of Jobs and his team was unwavering, as they sought to create a tool that would unlock the creative potential of its users. The Macintosh was set to be more than just a technological advancement. It was poised to become a pivotal moment in computing history. As they crafted the Macintosh, it became clear that they were not just building a computer, they were shaping the future of how people would interact with technology. The dedication of Jobs and his team was unwavering, as they sought to create a tool that would unlock the creative potential of its users. "We're not just building a computer," Steve emphasized, "we're crafting an experience." The rise and fall. The rise and fall. The air was thick with tension in the Apple boardroom, a stark contrast to the usual buzz that surrounded the launch of a new product. Steve Jobs, the visionary behind the Macintosh, was locked in a battle of wills with John Sculley, the CEO he had once convinced to join Apple. The two men, once allies, now stood on opposite sides of a chasm that had been widening for months. "John, you're missing the point. The Macintosh isn't just another computer, it's the future." Steve's voice was passionate as he spoke. Scully, ever the corporate figure, remained cool. "Steve, it's not about the vision. It's about the company's direction, and you're steering us off course." The disagreements had started small, but as the Macintosh project progressed, they became a deluge. Steve's relentless pursuit of perfection clashed with Scully's pragmatic approach to business. The boardroom had become their battleground, and the stakes were high. In another corner of the tech world, Bill Gates watched the drama unfold with a keen eye. Microsoft and Apple had been at odds for years, their rivalry playing out in courtrooms and the court of public opinion. Steve had accused Bill of stealing the Macintosh's graphical user interface, a claim that Bill vehemently denied. "You're just sore because we did it better, Steve," Bill had retorted during one of their heated exchanges. The unveiling of the Macintosh was supposed to be Steve's crowning achievement, but it had turned into the opening act of his downfall. The computer's introduction, with its groundbreaking graphical interface, was a direct challenge to IBM's dominance, but the internal strife at Apple was overshadowing its success. The final blow came when Steve attempted a coup while Scully was away in China. It was a bold move, one that Steve believed would put him back in control. But the board sided with Scully, and Steve found himself outmaneuvered. "Steve, you're out," said Mike Markula, one of Apple's earliest investors, his voice heavy with regret. Steve was stunned. Apple had been his life, his identity, and now he was being cast out from the very company he had built. The boardroom was silent as he gathered his things, his mind already racing with plans for his next venture. As he walked out of the building, Steve Jobs' departure from Apple was primarily driven by a combination of internal conflicts, power struggles, and differing visions for the company's direction. The culmination of these events marked the end of his tenure at Apple, but also the start of a new chapter in his career. With the foundation of Next, Steve Jobs was poised to redefine the future of technology once again. Rebirth and Renewal. Steve Jobs, deep in thought, faced the mounting pressure to deliver the revolutionary next computer. He believed in his vision, investing $7 of his own money. Though challenges abounded, he knew strategic alliances were key. Next briefly partnered with IBM, a step towards strengthening their position. Then came the game changer, a call from Gil Amelio, CEO of Apple, leading to negotiations for Apple's acquisition of Next. The deal was struck, bringing Jobs back to Apple as a leader, ready to usher in a new era of iconic products. This marked a rebirth for both Jobs and Apple, setting the stage for the company's transformation and some of the digital age's most groundbreaking innovations. With determination and innovation, Jobs embarked on a journey of renewal, shaping his legacy and Apple's future. As he began his new role, Jobs surrounded himself with a team of talented individuals who shared his passion for innovation. He set out to revamp Apple's product line, injecting new life into the company's stagnant designs. The iMac, iPod, iPhone, and iPad would soon become synonymous with revolutionary technology, redefining the boundaries of what was possible. With each groundbreaking release, Jobs' vision for a seamless fusion of technology and artistry took shape, transforming Apple into a behemoth of the digital age. His relentless pursuit of perfection, coupled with an innate ability to merge form and function, catapulted Apple to unprecedented heights, cementing Jobs' status as a visionary leader who had changed the world. Streamlining success. As Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he was determined to transform the company into a lean, mean innovation machine. He knew that the only way to do this was to streamline operations and focus on creating products that would revolutionize the tech industry. Apple is a ship that's been taking on water, Jobs said in a meeting with his executive team. We need to plug the holes and get back on course. He announced a significant reduction in Apple's product line, focusing on the Macintosh computer, the PowerBook laptop, the iMac desktop, and the eBook consumer laptop. This decision wasn't popular with everyone, but Jobs was adamant that it was the right thing to do. He also made tough decisions about which projects to discontinue, including the Newton. I know some of you are attached to it, Jobs said, but let's be honest, it's not going to make people's jaws drop. Jobs streamlined Apple's operations and brought in new talent, including Jony Ive, a brilliant designer who shared Jobs' passion for creating beautiful, functional products. Together, they created some of Apple's most iconic products, including the iMac and the iPod. These products were not only gorgeous, but also incredibly user-friendly, making them instant hits with consumers. Jobs' efforts paid off as Apple's stock price began to rise, and the company started to regain its reputation as a leader in innovation. Jobs also made bold decisions to restructure Apple's supply chain and inventory management systems, bringing in Tim Cook to help him overhaul the company's logistics and manufacturing processes. The results were stunning, with inventory levels plummeting and production times shrinking dramatically. The company was able to respond quickly to changes in the market and get new products out the door in record time. By cutting out distractions and driving innovation, Jobs had transformed Apple into a company that was truly unstoppable. The streamlined product line allowed for a more efficient allocation of resources, fostering an environment where innovation could thrive. The focus on key products led to the development of groundbreaking technology that resonated with consumers and solidified Apple's position in the tech industry. Jobs' vision for a simplified yet effective product strategy was realized, marking a new era of success for Apple. Legacy of innovation. Steve Jobs, the visionary leader of Apple, was about to unveil something that would once again shake the foundations of the tech world. Are we ready? Steve asked as he peered over the sea of eager faces that filled the auditorium. We are, replied Jony Ive, his chief designer and right-hand man. It's going to be magical. Steve nodded and stepped onto the stage, the crowd hushing as he began to speak. Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything, he said, steady and confident. Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The audience leaned in, hanging on his every word. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator, he continued, pausing for effect. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device, and we are calling it iPhone. The room erupted in applause as Steve revealed the sleek device in his hand. It was a testament to his relentless drive to innovate. And we did it, he said, turning to Jony with a triumphant smile. We did it by believing in our vision, by daring to dream big and challenge the status quo. Backstage, after the presentation, Steve's team gathered around him, their faces alight with pride and excitement. Steve, you've done it again, exclaimed Phil Schiller, Apple's Senior Vice President of Worldwide Marketing. The iPhone is going to change everything. Steve smiled at his team, acknowledging their collective effort. We did it together, he said. It's a testament to what we can achieve when we dare to dream big. The iPhone's launch marked a pivotal moment in Apple's history, reshaping the mobile phone industry and solidifying Steve Jobs' legacy as an innovation pioneer. As the iPhone became a cultural phenomenon, Steve's health battles remained an ever-present challenge. Despite the obstacles, his unwavering belief in the power of innovation and his unique approach to design and decision-making at Apple continued to drive the company forward, leaving an indelible mark on the tech industry.